Recently, marijuana has been legalized in Massachusetts for medicinal reasons. So I have a few questions for you. Firstly, what are your initial opinions about the legalization of marijuana for medicinal use?
For me, I mean, if it helps for the people who are ill, especially people who have cancer or other types of daily disease, if that's going to help them to, well, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I do not smoke marijuana.
Why don't you smoke?
Well, I don't smoke because I don't like thinking about smoke going into my lungs because I know it damages them.
I use it medicinally. I'm from California, so it is legal to have a medical card there to get marijuana.
I use it recreationally with maybe some medicinal just for me, but not I don't have a card or anything.
I smoke probably 2 or 3 times a day.
Just about every day. Sometimes I'll skip a day, but usually every day.
Yes. Why is that? Well, because there are people who are suffering different types of diseases and conditions where marijuana has been proven to be helpful in relieving pain. And I don't think that it's a harmful substance. I think it's a lot less harmful than certain pharmaceuticals and alcohol that is essentially legal. I don't know. It's certainly possible, but even without this, people who want marijuana can certainly find it.
Right.
It is illegal, but people can still get it with or without any kind of card. I think that you decrease the probability of people using the card illegally by having certain safeguards.
The school have their policy procedures we have to enforce.
Mm-hmm.
But if we do catch a student smoking weed here, we had to go. Obviously, we make a report about it, and then the student has to go through a judicial board. That's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one. So I can't really tell you what I think. Alcohol.
Alcohol?
Alcohol, yeah.
Why is that?
I'll tell you why. Because I have seen students, they drink excessive alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
You get alcohol poison, you actually died.
I think as a drug, I think alcohol is worse. I mean, it's like, I believe that the late Frank Zappa said something like using drugs, and I think he's referring to alcohol as well as marijuana, that it essentially gives you license to be an asshole. And, something like that, he said. And sure, I mean, there are people who abuse all kinds of substances and then exhibit behavior that might be considered assholian, but also just endangering themselves and endangering others.
I think it's worse to smoke marijuana, definitely. Drinking's fine.
Why is drinking fine?
Well, you're not hurting your lungs, and that's a very soft organ.
Mm-hmm.
And even though alcohol is poison, I feel like it's more accepted in our society today.
Alcohol, actually. Yeah, I really I smoked before I drank.
I mean, I'm not an expert in this field, but I've never heard of anyone dying from marijuana, but I've heard of people dying from alcohol. And I've certainly heard of people killing themselves in accidents and killing others because they were drunk. Out where I live in western Massachusetts, in the Berkshires, there were some terrible accidents, and people in our very small community, killed by drunk drivers. And we all know people or know people who were killed or damaged by a drunk driver. But in all honesty, I don't know anyone who was ever hurt or killed by someone who was stoned.
Will it bother you if you ever are walking down the street and you see a dispensary next to a shop?
No, definitely not. I mean, like as I said before, my friends do it. I don't. It's a choice. You can choose to. You can do it or not do it.
Tina, do you have any bad experiences with marijuana?
Somebody that I was intimately involved with used it recreationally on a daily basis, and I hated the fact that it consumed his life completely and totally. I was not at all important to him, and it was just marijuana, marijuana, marijuana.
California, you just go to a doctor and they prescribe you a card, and there's dispensaries all over LA, so it's really easy to get.